What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, we got to talk about that state of play, and I have some conflicting thoughts. I got to be real. I went kind of back and forth, and I almost feel like I undertook a spiritual journey, while watching this thing. But you know what? It is kind of sad. I have my Astrobot shirt on here. See? My wife actually made this for me. No Astro. No a lot of things. No a lot of PlayStation things. Now, here's the deal, okay? When it comes to the state of play, I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. The issue that I have deep down inside is what the state of play, at least in my mind, needed to be versus what it actually was. But I was expecting more. We did get an okay amount of stuff, and I think if you just strictly look at this from a third-party perspective, which, let's be real, as we kind of have found out, there's like contractual obligations that PlayStation has gotten themselves in where they need to do these state of plays every so often to show off these third-party games. I don't know why, I don't know how, but this is where we're at, right? And I think if you just look at it from that perspective, it was fine. You got Borderlands. Now, you didn't get too much Borderlands. You kind of got a prelude to it, right? Because you saw a little bit. Looks okay. And I think it's going to be a lot better, by the way. But, what they showed. Then they say, okay, well, there's going to be like a spring state of play, right? You get a release date for it, though. You get Lost Soul Aside. You get that release date. You actually got quite a few release dates that did make me happy. The Directive 8020, like, as a third-party show, I think it was actually rock solid. Sonic, the list can actually go on and on and on. As a PlayStation-specific thing, though, I think it was very, very weak. And as a PlayStation-specific thing, really Housemarque's game, right, that they showed at the very end there, that game rocks. That game looks like it's going to be phenomenal. And I think Housemarque is going to continue to kind of just get this label as one of the more underappreciated studios out there. That game looks great, and that game kind of saved it. Kind of saved the show for the first-party stuff, because beyond that, like Lost Soul aside, PC and PlayStation, so okay, there's that PlayStation slant, comes out the end of May, that's cool. Stellar Blade, coming out on PC, that was actually an okay amount of that presentation, right? You get the PC announcement, and you get the fact that, the crossover event actually gets a release month, right? June of this year. But also, like, where are the PlayStation games? And look, you could say, well, Alex, which games would you want? I mean, we've kind of talked about it, and I will say, to give a little bit of credit, they did knock one off, right? So, you had, okay, well, what is this mysterious Naughty Dog game, right? Besides Last of Us Part 3. Well, it's Intergalactic. They showed that at the Game Awards. Okay, now you know Housemarque's game. Ben's game just got freaking canceled. You're not getting that, but you are getting Days Gone remastered. Again, it's just a bad look. I mean, even though, to be honest with you, the value is actually kind of there. $10 for the upgrade. You get enhanced features. You get that, you get several things. You get that permadeath mode. You get like the racing trials or whatever. And you also get kind of that horde mode, which is kind of cool. And, they did that with Horizon. And I think optically, right, it's what it looks like. Having that Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. Yes, it's actually, I think, user-friendly that it's $10. That upgrade is $10. That to me is not a sign of like PlayStation losing their minds. It's more about like the action in and of itself, you know what I mean? Doing Horizon, doing Days Gone, because then you have people coming out, and I think they should, saying, okay, well, you're going to do a Days Gone remaster before Bloodborne. And the thing is, we knew they were going to do this, right? This is not actually surprising. We knew Days Gone was coming. But also, some of us have kind of convinced ourselves of this God of War thing, right? So you're sitting there praying to every god to get a God of War remaster, and then all of a sudden they give you a Days Gone, and it's like, it's not what the people want. And even though, again, like at the end of the day, is it a terrible product? It's actually a pretty good game. What you get for the $10 upgrade is probably worth it. But it's just optically, did you need to do a Days Gone remaster? Is that something you needed to have people work on versus something else? And the answer to that, I think, is probably no, right? Okay thing, but like, did you need to do it? Answer is no. So I don't know. I mean, as a whole, again, especially early on, like, like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, right? Gets a demo tomorrow. And didn't they show Monster Hunter just as I predicted? Split Fiction just as I predicted? You think about these games that are coming out in the next couple months, and I actually nailed that part of my prediction where you're just going to get a bunch of those games, shown at State of Play. There was some cool, like, PSVR stuff. Again, Housemarque's game, I think, is going to be everything Returnal was, and then even more. more. There was some cool stuff, Dynasty Warriors or the Warriors franchise getting that roguelike thing. That looked pretty cool. There was cool in this. Like, I do not agree. I was saying this to people that I talked to online. Like, this is not a 0. This is not a 1. This is not a 2. I really don't believe so. I really think people are saying, like, this is the worst state of play. You must have missed some. You must not have watched the showcase 2 years ago that was terrible. That showcase was probably the worst thing they've ever done. Now, maybe it's because of the types of games that they are. Like, more games here spoke to me. But again, that's why I'm kind of conflicted, because I think I can sit here and genuinely tell you, was it a bad show? I don't think it was. I think you had enough stuff. Granted, except for one, it was all third-party stuff, right? So it's like, okay, you're showing me a bunch of stuff, you're giving me a bunch of release dates, you're showing off some okay, cool stuff, but you're not showing kind of what PlayStation fans, as I talked about yesterday, right? Like, what are PlayStation fans craving? And it's games from PlayStation. This, exactly as I said 24 hours ago, and I kind of predicted this. Like, I thought, okay, this would be maybe more third-party thing. If you watched the video from yesterday, that could be an okay show, but that doesn't make it optically look good online. You know what I mean? Because there's still that perception, I think rightly so, that, like, PlayStation exclusivity, or even just PlayStation Studios, I don't care if they come to PC. I'm not trying to gatekeep and say, no, you're not allowed to release on other places. Games that are coming specifically from them, they are struggling. They are coming out way too slow. They are canceling a bunch of them, and you're just not seeing them, right? They're just not present. So I had said literally 24 hours ago, if you do a third-party thing, which ironically we got, this is a fine show. It's fine. I think it's like a 4 or 5 out of 10 type show. But as a PlayStation show, was it a good show? The answer to me is no. That's my stance on it. I think overall, it was actually kind of fine. If you got these, by the way, every 4 or 5 months, I'd be extremely happy, because they showed plenty of games, plenty of release dates, interesting games, set up future things, right? In fact, they talked about the Housemarque game. It's getting gameplay later this year. Okay, so does that mean Gamescom? Does that mean another PlayStation? Maybe a state of play in September, which is probably likely, right? What do they mean by that? I mean, well, we kind of know. It means there's gameplay coming, but where is gameplay coming, right? So you said that. Borderlands set up like another state of play, right? We know Death Stranding kind of separately is going to get like a big presentation in a month or two. So, there's things that were there, but at the same time, was it everything it needed to be? I mean, look, was I really expecting Sly Cooper? No. I predicted Astrobot, that Horizon multiplayer. Astro, by the way, like DLC. I think that's kind of still a likelihood. You have Horizon's multiplayer that seemingly is coming out this year. Still no Wolverine. Ghost of Yote, where are you at? This is a game that's supposed to come out this year. When's the next? This is exactly what I said yesterday, too. The next state of play, the next PlayStation event, when is it? September? Shouldn't Ghost of Yote be out by then? So, like, you're going to show it off in September, but then, okay, are you releasing it in October or November? Like, you kind of have to. But then when's Death Stranding 2 coming out, right? So it's like, now I'm kind of confused on Ghosts. I'm not saying magically it's in trouble, but I'm just wondering, like, what's the strategy with Ghosts, because I don't see the strategy, right? And then, just anything else. The God of War thing, like, it came from insiders. Insiders can be wrong. It's probably best to not expect a God of War remaster thing. I wanted it, but it's best to not expect it, right? So there were some things that I wasn't like 1,000% positive on, but I feel, I don't know, the biggest takeaway from PlayStation was Housemarque's game, which I think is going to be really, really good, and definitely a good show closer. I thought that was awesome. And the rest of the state of play was fine, but it was third-party stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was amazing, the state of play, but I don't think for those that say it's like the worst thing of all time, I don't agree with that either. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.